What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And welcome to a random video that's out of the blue, pretty much. I know I'm in the midst of doing the Christmas movie reviews for Julie's challenge, reviewing Christmas films, but I figured this would be just a random video out of the blue that I just figured I would do for you guys. Since I pretty much bolstered up my collection of this guy, I figured I would show you guys a lot of the stuff that I have in my collection of this guy. And it's going to be on my collection of Richard Pryor. Now, Richard Pryor, very talented comedian, really talented, just really funny guy. And I know Richard Pryor, personal-wise, had a lot of problems with drugs and things like that. I know he had a lot of personal problems other than drugs. Drugs was definitely one of them that he had, but as an actor and a comedian, and I know he had a lot of health problems too because I guess of all the drug intake and things like that, like heart attacks, things like that. As a comedian and an actor, he was so talented, so funny, and he did a lot of really good stuff over the years, and he left us way too soon in 2005. I believe Richard Pryor had MS, which is sad, but so I figured why not show you guys some of my things that I have of Richard Pryor. Now, before I get onto the collection itself, there are a few things of Pryor that I don't have. I don't have one of his stand-ups that he did called Live in Concert because that thing's out of print. That's why I don't have that, because it goes for, I think, about $40. So I'll have to find that for cheap one day, but not anytime soon. But and I also don't own Silver Streak, which is actually the first collaboration that he did with Gene Wilder. Don't have that one either because that goes for like $50, and it's out of print, so I don't have that one either. And I don't have some of his other ones like Car Wash. Like a lot of his early stuff I don't have, but I do have quite a bit of his stuff from the '80s. Pretty much all of his stuff from the '80s, pretty much. So I'll start with some of the stand-ups that I have of his, and then I'll get on to his films. The first thing I have here of Richard Pryor is Live on the Sunset Strip. Really fun stand-up, and in case you're wondering, you'll be seeing these again in like a Blu-ray DVD update soon, because like I do have a lot of newer stuff to show that I've showed before in like mail day videos from Amazon and things like that. I'll be showing those and some of these things that I got in a Blu-ray DVD update, so be on the lookout for these again. But this is a really fun stand-up. This is the one in '82 that he did, where he makes a joke about like how when he fell asleep, I don't know if it was like his hair caught on fire from like smoking a cigarette and he fell asleep or something like that. But people said it was like an unsuccessful suicide attempt. There's like all these things about like what it was, but he makes a joke in this where he lights a match and he says, you know what this is? And it's like Richard Pryor running down the street. So, yeah, really fun stand-up that he did live on the Sunset Strip. And the other stand-up that I have of his is actually my personal favorite of the two. Richard Pryor's Here and Now, which was in New Orleans in '83. And a lot of really fun quotable lines from this. Like there's a point where Richard Pryor talks about how he doesn't do drugs anymore, and there's a heckler in the audience yelling, "Bullshit!" And then Richard Pryor goes, "Bullshit, my dick." So, really fun stand-up with Richard Pryor, Here and Now. Fun stand-up. But those are the stand-ups that I have. Now we're getting on to his filmography. So, I'm going to go in order here. Greased Lightning. It's actually a Richard Pryor film I have not yet seen before. I know it's based on a true story about Wendell Scott, who I think was the first African-American to win NASCAR, which is pretty interesting. So I have to give this a look one day. And there's a shot of it on the back there. Very young Richard Pryor. You also have Beau Bridges and Pam Grier in the film. I think this was from 1977. I think that's when, 77 was Grease Lightning. But one I have not yet seen, though, but I'm curious to give it a look. Then you get on to the most popular collaboration with him and Gene Wilder, one of my personal favorites of theirs with them in it, Stir Crazy. Definitely one of Richard Pryor's best films. A lot of fun, a lot of really great quotable lines. We gotta be bad, or we get fucked. Absolutely fun film, directed by Sidney Poitier. It was their second film after Silver Streak. It's not my favorite collaboration, but I can definitely see why it's people's favorite. I'll get to my favorite collaboration between the two of them in a second. But really fun movie, Stir Crazy. Bustin' Loose, another really fun movie where Richard Pryor is a criminal, and he has to take these kids cross country on a trip, and he's joined by this teacher played by Cecily Tyson. And it's a really fun road movie. Has a nice heart to it as well. But Bustin' Loose, another fun movie. Then we have Some Kind of Hero, which the cover is a little misleading because the cover kind of makes it seem like it'd be like Stripes or Major Payne, but it's not. It's more of a drama film with a mixture of comedy, where Richard Pryor was a POW in Vietnam, and he comes back and he has to do some criminal work to make money. I'm going to go more detailed into this whenever I do a Pryor marathon one day. But I think it's another really solid film for Richard Pryor. This was 82. Bustin' Loose was 81. Stir Crazy was 80. But another solid movie. And in the same year, in 82, he would have The Toy. A film that not many people like, but I happen to enjoy the film, even though it does have a weird subject matter, if you think about it. But I think it's still a fun flick. I like Richard Pryor, Jackie Gleason, Scott Schwartz, who I think was... I think he was Schwartz or Flick in Christmas Story. I forget which one he was. But you also have Ned Beatty. Directed by Richard Donner, who did Lethal Weapon, The Goonies, and Scrooged. But I think this is a fun movie. And it also has a really great line in the film that I love from Richard Pryor. When the kid says to him, "Life's not fair," and Richard Pryor goes, "Tough titty." So, and I also have the film on Blu-ray as well. Another one of Richard Pryor's best, Brewster's Millions. Another really fun movie that he did with John Candy, where Richard Pryor plays a guy who has this inheritance, and he's given $30 million, and he has to spend all the money without telling anybody. And if he does that, then he gets $300 million. So it's kind of a fun idea of this guy spending all this money, and people think he's insane for spending all this money, but he can't tell anybody. He can't even tell John Candy, who's his buddy. Directed by Walter Hill, of all people. Yeah, Walter Hill, the guy that did Southern Comfort, 48 Hours, and Last Man Standing, Bullet to the Head, did this film. It's a fun comedy, though. And especially these two, Richard Pryor and John Candy. I miss both of them. Then we get on to one of my personal favorite of Richard Pryor, Moving. Really fun movie where Richard Pryor and his family are moving from New Jersey to Idaho, and all the crazy the shit that happens to them. You have Randy Quaid as a asshole neighbor. You have Dana Carvey in the film, Dave Thomas. You also have King Kong Bundy, may he rest in peace, as one of the movers. Rodney Dangerfield has a small role in the film as well. But I've reviewed Moving before, so if you want to see more of a detailed review of Moving, go check out my review of that. but definitely one of my personal favorites of Richard Pryor. And the last two I'm going to show here is, of course, my favorite film of Richard Pryor. And that, of course, is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. My favorite Richard Pryor film, my favorite Gene Wilder film, and it's my favorite collaboration with these two. Love this movie, and of course, also have the film on Blu-ray as well. A lot of really great, memorable moments in the film. The basic idea is that Richard Pryor's blind, Gene Wilder's deaf. There's a murder, they get framed for it, they gotta clear their names and try to catch the killers, which are these two. One of them is actually Kevin Spacey, which nowadays Kevin Spacey, knowing what he is in real life, he's a creep, like a predator in Hollywood. So, but he does play a villain in this. So, and a lot of really great, memorable lines, like when Gene Wilder is standing in the street, he's blocking traffic, and the cars are honking at him, especially this truck, but he can't hear it because he's deaf. But Gene Wilder can read lips, and the truck driver goes, "You dumb idiot!" And Gene Wilder understands what he said, and then the guy flips him the finger, and then Gene Wilder's going, "You're a dumb idiot." But Richard Pryor hears that, and because Richard Pryor can't see, he thinks Gene Wilder's talking to him, and he's like, "You talking to me, asshole? You are a dumb idiot. You talking to me, asshole? If the man has something to say, let him say it. Up yours. Oh, I've heard that song before. Now listen, dickhead, you want to get something off your chest?" You also have a point where they're in this bar, and there's a guy picking a fight with Gene Wilder, and Richard Pryor stands up for Gene Wilder, and Richard Pryor says to the guy, "Stand up," and the guy's like, "I am standing." So then Richard Pryor's punching him and things like that, and Gene Wilder's helping him, and Gene Wilder's trying to talk Richard Pryor out of it, and he's like, "Come on, Wally," the character's name is Wally, Richard Pryor, and he's like, "Come on, Wally, he'll punch a hole through your head," and Richard Pryor goes, "Fuck him in his holes." I love this film. It's my favorite film with Richard Pryor. So that's my entire Richard Pryor collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.